Welcome to Mark's Motorsports and Farming channel. Today's video will be the December channel update. You know, monthly update videos I've been doing every month. So as you guys can see, since the last couple videos I did at the home place here, things turned pretty white. We didn't really need it so much with fields that haven't been plowed and so forth, but overall it is kind of that time of year where we're gonna get it and then it's here to stay. We've got a few months or so with white ground rather than brown or green or black or anything like that. So one little piece of housekeeping to do here. We were able to sell that 3020 tractor that I talked about in one of the prior videos, that we were looking to get rid of. We did finally sell that. So, and the guy that owns it now is a vegetable farmer, so he'll be able to carry things around his vegetable farm with that loader, and I don't know if he really has to pull anything or what, but that's where it went. And then normally I start with motorsports, but this time I'll start with farming. And I'm close to the machine shed where the combine has been put away for the winter months. There you can start seeing it. And then yeah, there were a couple of things that I forgot to point out in the video that I did on it after it came back from the John Deere shop. This is one of them right here that I forgot about. That sprocket was basically ready to snap, and where it comes up like this, those are all close-up paper thin. And couldn't have done too many more acres with it. And then the seal I believe is up in here someplace. That they had to swap out. And it's been just long enough now where I'm not 100% sure anymore where that was, and that's why I wish I would have been able to think of it after I got it home, because it would have been a lot more. It was a lot more fresh back then, as far as what all they did. And then yeah, a couple of things that we'll try to do during the off season. The round baler. The last video that I did when I was using this, You might remember me pointing out that you see how this this piece here, you know, keeps scraping over this plate that's attached to the two twine arms, or one of them, or yeah, I think it's just one of them that's attached on, even though it looks like both. It's not supposed to do that. This is supposed to hook onto the edge of this plate here and pull the blade onto that deal there. That's kind of on the inside there to cut the twine off rather than sliding over the top like it is. So it's one off-season project that we can try to do is, you know, try to get this nut loose and get as much of this stuff apart as we have to in order to get this deal off that's probably broke, just enough to where it's acting like it is. And I know I baled soybean straw with it since I finished the hay job, and I think I might have done some roadsides with it too. But yeah, baling the hay job for the second time was the last video that I did where I actually of me using it, and that's why I didn't do any more videos when I used it since then, is because it never got fixed at all. And then that was pretty frustrating too, quite honestly, you know, having to climb out every time and cut the twine by hand. And whereas the machine is supposed to do it. This was the last small square baling that I did. And the only reason I didn't record that is because it was starting to get dark when I did it. But otherwise, if there would have been more daylight available, I would have made a video of that. The bean planter. What we're talking about doing with this, so this part here broke off. You know, it's supposed to sit down in there, and then that goes inside this sleeve, I'm gonna call it. I don't know what the real name for it is, but it's supposed to sit inside there, and then to drive these outside 3 units. So what we're talking about, what we've been talking about doing here is seeing if we can, get this part here off of this part of the shaft, and then we'll try to alter these sprockets here, and then turn the whole thing around so that when we weld that back together, then the welded part will only have to drive this unit here. rather than driving all three like it is now. And then that'll be less of a load on something that's repaired a little more. Won't be quite as strong as it was before it broke, basically. Here's a small squared alfalfa mix here that one of the last videos I did when I used a small square baler. Yeah, baling the last hay of 2019 was the last video that I actually did of using that. Now the corn planter here, as you can see, it's kind of all caked with oil there because there's a broken hose where that lets the actual marker down once the wings unfolded. Yeah, let me try to get around there. And went around the other way because I wasn't sure how to get to it. I'm over here at first. Yeah, this oil, old oil and all that you see is probably from that. And then one of these hoses up here has a puncture in it, and then that's where it caused that. There's something goofy going on with this control system. I don't know if that leaky hose had anything to do with it, but for some reason, when I tried to fold the markers out, it started folding the whole planter back in. So if that hose has something to do with it, I don't know. Otherwise, I don't know what could be done about that. But even with not being able to use the markers this spring, I still did pretty darn good. Having consistency with the spacing and all that. There weren't too terribly many places where the rows ended up being so close together. Where I took part of the next pass, along with the one I was working on. I know you guys heard me talk about that a couple times while I was combining. I ended up taking 7 rows of corn with a 6-row head. That's just a few times where I ended up putting one planter with a little closer to the previous width. But I don't think that happened too often, so I guess for the most part I was satisfied with the job I was able to do as far as being consistent with the row spacing. But probably the only corn I'll plant this coming year now is at the home place where I had the soybeans. But yeah, the only thing on this combine that I know of that we haven't addressed yet is how to stop the radiator from boiling and causing it to overheat while I'm doing soybeans, or while I'm harvesting soybeans, I mean. And I know there was only one field I had them in this past year, or this past fall, I mean, or past growing season. And it ended up being an hour and a half altogether. You know, that I was down because of it, which isn't the worst thing in the world, but even so, I mean, you know, could have done that much sooner and gotten onto the corn that much sooner and so forth, so. We got some brainstorming to do. As far as how to address that. Yeah, it's well, most likely we won't be able to do any more tillage than what you saw in the 3 videos there. Yeah, being it's so white, you know, that adds to the problem that we were already dealing with. So, yeah, insurance adjuster was out here a couple times, and you know, one time he measured the gravity boxes that I emptied the spring wheat in. And he got totals for the 3 farms I had wheat on this year. Because it got to be late enough in the year when I was finally able to get it harvested to where elevators weren't taking it anymore, and yeah, the quality did not turn out very good. So he likes the idea that I have of mixing it in with next year's crop and getting rid of it that way. Because he thinks too that, you know, even if it weren't so weedy and whatnot, you know, that they'd also see that the quality's way down, and you know, and then they wouldn't accept it. You know, they'd probably send me home with it. You know, if I took this year's crop in the way it is, I'd probably get sent right back home with it. So yeah, that's all we can do there is hope that we're able to get a better crop next year, and then mix that in with, you know, with it, and then both years' crops will be gone at once. So we'll just have to try to keep track of the numbers a little more. You know, so that when I do that, then we can deduct the bushels from this year and get next year's actual yield. And now that harvest is pretty much behind us, we're able to start focusing a little bit more on firewood. And my brother hauled this over here, and just has to be split up and stacked, and that's a video that I've been looking to do for a while and haven't been able to do yet. So yeah, this is about as far out as we've been coming. Maybe one more, and I think we will put another pallet down here yet. And it's been just long enough. I mean, you know, since we've actually had a complete row here. You know, people have been coming and buying the wood off of us that we made this last winter, which, as I've probably said before, is less than usual, just because, you know, our river spilled over onto our land 9 times this past, you know, spring through fall basically, and you know, so we can never get to, you know, where we've been getting it from. So I think this winter we're gonna give that area a back seat and go to the hayfield across the ravine, and I'll try to get stuff cut up that could fall onto the field any minute, or if it's not that bad now, it would be starting to get there, and then get them off now rather than having to go around them when I make hay next summer. So yeah, we got that and that left, you know, from last year, and we'll probably just move that up to the front here, and you know, let that be some of the first stuff that gets loaded out, and when the buyers start coming out here next fall. Yeah, I still want to try and get a video of the splitting and stacking, and then along with the video that I did previously of the cutting down and cutting up, I will have shown the complete process that way of getting firewood made. But now that fieldwork's done, probably the only farming content that there will be is hay markets and machinery markets and that type of thing. So I'll be able to go back to that a little bit more and see how much of that type of thing I'm able to get recorded for you. On the combine bill, it ended up being a lot more expensive than I thought it was going to be. Yeah, I ended up getting a $9,400 bill in the mail for the work that they did on that combine over the 10-day span that was in their shop. Yeah, that is kind of a unfortunate thing, because, like I said before, you know, you know, the first couple days when we were screwing around with it ourselves, trying to get it working, would have been just enough to finish harvesting that corn that I had. And then that would have given us a little bit more nicer weather to, you know, where we might have been able to get some more of the tillage done, you know, than what we did. At least in Minnesota here, it's always best to plow up ground in the fall rather than in the spring, because then you get the freezing temperatures during the winter. You know, they kind of freeze it up, and then when it thaws out in the spring, and it doesn't look completely like powder, but it does break up in the spring, you know, a lot closer to what that would be. You know, because the objective is to have the nicest seed bed in the spring of the year as you possibly can. And then by plowing or ripping it up in the fall, you get that. I mean, you can still make a decent seed bed in the spring, even with spring plowing, but not quite like fall plowing would do. And then there is a little science as far as, you know, missing out on a little yield by doing fall tillage in the spring, basically. And then, you know, one more thing with the insurance adjuster, you know, I was able to give them the paperwork for, you know, the soybeans and the corn, because that all went to market. So when you're able to go directly to market with a crop after it's harvested, then, you know, then they don't have to mess around measuring wagons or anything like that. You know, they're able to use the numbers provided by the elevator that you sell the crop to. Yeah, I should, you know, shouldn't be too terribly long, you know, before I'm able to collect the money from that, or have it mailed to me. So, as long as I'm down by the animal fences here, I was able to add to my herd compared to when I did the first couple live streams. There's a couple there and a couple of them there. Yeah, one of these last three that I bought, I mean, every time I go in there to feed him the grain, you know, he's right there up against me just about, and, you know, looking to stick his head into the feed pail and get ahead of the other ones with eating some of the grain. But I guess you'll get animals like that all the time, you know, or with cattle at least, and where they're like that. And you just gotta lift the bucket up a little higher or something, you know, then make sure that they play it fair, and you know, don't eat any of the grain until you pour it into their trough. So yeah, I have been marketing a few cattle every year as freezer meat, so yeah, there's my cow herd as of now. There is a chance this week that I might be able to add to it a little bit, but you know, if not, then I'll just stick with those 4 over the winter, and then they may all be turned into freezer meat before spring. So and then at that point, I'd try and look at getting another 4 in the spring, you know, to sell as live fat cattle in the fall, you know, because with the low commodity prices and so forth, you know, might be better off to look into feeding cattle if you can get them bought at the right price, and if the quality's there. I think that'll pretty much do it for farming. Motorsports is going to be a lot more active going into the winter months. This coming Thursday, or in 2 days now, will be the first snowcross race of the new season. That'll be the first of 3 that I know about that are held just in the month of December, and all at the same location. So yeah, it's basically snowcross galore for the month of December, especially, and then January will be like that too, and February there might be some too. Then at that point is, you know, February is when that ice race is that I recorded for you guys this past winter. And, I might actually be able to run in that this coming winter. I'll be deciding on that, you know, in the next week or 2 here, and then if I do get something built for that, then I'll also try to bring a cameraman along with me, and you know, then somebody can run this camera while I'm driving the race. But yeah, as far as the month of December, it's basically snowcross galore. You know, the December races I'm referring to are known as grassroots races, and, which they'll probably be more circle track type races. More so than some of the first ones that I filmed this past winter, where they're jumping over mounds and that type of thing. Those involve bigger tracks as well. Those kind, whereas the grassroots is, they don't take up more than half of the area that they have. Probably more like a third of the area that that they'd use for more of a regional or national type thing, where where they have jumps in the track. And then I think that's pretty much it for motorsports. Yeah, going off to February for a second, and I've been playing around with the idea of going on to Kentucky for a few days in the middle of February. There's a big machinery show down there, and they got tractor pulls each of the days, and if I go down, I'd at least be looking to take one of those in and get some video. And yeah, stay tuned on that, because like I say, I've just been kind of playing around with the idea so far. I don't know for sure just yet if I'll go or not. Yeah, like I say, the month of December, watch this channel for snowcross action, and I'll be able to start filming some of the hay markets and machinery markets and that type of thing, especially now that harvest is done. And I've officially had this channel for a full year already, which in a way is hard to believe. And last time I looked, I'm up to 108 subscribers, which I certainly do appreciate. Those of you that did subscribe. But at the same time, I would have liked to see this channel just go viral and really blow up. But yeah, like I say, I certainly do appreciate the 108 subscriptions that I've gotten. So yeah, if any of you are watching this and you haven't already done so, scroll down and click that subscribe button. I'd certainly appreciate that. And like I've also emphasized the last couple months, once you subscribe, then scroll over to the right a little bit and click on that bell, and then that'll notify you every time a new video is posted from Mark's Motorsports and Farming channel. Then you won't miss any content. Yeah, that's what this channel really needs is more and more subscriptions, and keep growing that way. So that's all I know of for now. So with that, I thank you guys for watching my videos. I certainly appreciate that. Be sure to hit the like button, and if you haven't already, be sure to click that subscribe button. And then once you've done that, then scroll over to the right and click on that bell. And then that way you'll get notified whenever a new video gets posted, and then you won't miss any content. Be sure to follow Mark's Motorsports and Farming channel on Facebook as well. And thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you later.